Right, welcome ladies and gents. The box office for Deadpool and Wolverine is looking very, very good. Potentially $420 million global opening weekend. This is a record breaker for an R-rated film. This has done very, very, very well. Don't know how this will continue, as in don't know whether it will continue, obviously. We just don't know. If this tracks like a standard Marvel movie, then it'll probably do $1 billion, and then that's about it. Like, it'll probably just about do $1 billion. If you're looking at, like, comparing it to Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, for instance, that did $449 million opening, if I remember rightly. So, and that, yeah, sort of scraped by towards the end. I don't know whether this will have a pretty large drop-off next week. Most Marvel movies have a very, very large drop-off, so be interesting to see. But let's take a look and just see what these, see what they're saying with all of this. So, we've got this report here. Deadpool and Wolverine crossing $200 million. That is domestic, so that's just in the States. So it's unprecedented for an R-rated film, which is true, because I think Joker, which is the highest... The highest grossing R-rated film of all time, that did $240 odd million worldwide in its opening weekend. But that had rewatch sort of, you know, ability. It had that sort of rewatch power. I don't know where... I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know whether Deadpool and Wolverine has that rewatch sort of vibe. I'm not sure. Because, again, if it plays like a standard Marvel movie fare means that it will probably drop next weekend will be about 60% drop off, which is huge. That means yeah, really, really big drop off. Whereas Joker didn't have that. It started okay, but had lots of, good word of mouth and good rewatch. So it'd be interesting to see how this pans out, genuinely. So anyway, this is for Sunday AM. Disney hasn't reported their official numbers yet, which is true. But on the heels of a killer Saturday night in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con for Marvel, the Sean Levy directed, produced and written Deadpool and Wolverine grossed between $61 million to $62 million on Saturday per sources, for what is definitely a $200 million plus opening weekend, domestically. Which is, okay, interesting. There's bound to be even more cash. Some felt it wasn't possible, but here we are. So this is the Saturday update that they gave. Disney's report on a $96 million first day previews for Deadpool Wolverine, the 6th highest grossing ever that the US Canada has seen, which is interesting. The revised 3-day estimate is just over $200 million, which it will probably do. So easily the best opening ever for filmmaker Sean Levy. Again for Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, etc. So they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it, which makes a lot of sense. So Deadpool and Wolverine, potentially either the 8th or 9th best opening at the domestic box office of all time. Not sure whether that's adjusted for inflation, though, just as an FYI. So we'll have a look at this report, because this is the sort of global one, the international box office. So Saturday update. With a strong domestic and rolling offshore starts, Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine is now looking at a global opening through Sunday of $420 million. Which is, again, fantastic. Like, it's great. Through Friday, the international box office cum was $115.1 million, with worldwide at $211 million. So, Anthony reported that Deadpool and Wolverine is on a path to the $205 million opening weekend, which I said, that's domestic. Overseas BFFs, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, now playing 51 markets. That's quite a lot. The first 3 offshore days, yeah, they've done really, really well with this. So I thought we'd look at, basically I thought we'd look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, just to compare it. So that got to $955 million worldwide. Well, 956 basically, if you're going to round it up. And this is a comparable weekend. Or I think it is comparable, to be fair. I'd say this is really, really comparable. If you're looking at it, so this was opening day, $90 million. This did... What did this do in terms of its So first 3 offshore days, 115. That was offshore. Yeah, I mean, it's looking actually very, very, very comparable. Really comparable. So if you want to judge where this is probably going to end up, Multiverse of Madness is that. Very similar shtick as well. Monday will actually be the real tell. Because if Monday, right, tomorrow, the numbers come in about the 13 million mark, or less, or significantly less, then this will tell us that it will maybe just about scrape $1 billion. Again, opening weekend domestic was 187 million. So it's close, you know. It's not bang on. It's a little bit more. And you would expect it to be a little bit more than Doctor Strange as well. Deadpool and Wolverine. You'd expect it to be more. So, yeah, 187. I'd say that's a really, really good comparison. But you can see, as it goes into its second weekend, you see it all here, as it starts to drop off quite a lot. So, these films always open really, really strong. And that makes a lot of sense. You know, people that want to see it, go out and watch it. So, really, really good. It's good that it's made a lot of money in its opening weekend for the film. Because next weekend will be a pretty big drop-off, I think. A pretty massive drop-off. I mean, Saturday to Saturday on Multiverse of Madness was a 54% drop. Sunday, 53% drop. So, yeah, and then the Friday was an 81.1% drop. I think this will probably play near identically to Multiverse of Madness. I think it will scrape $1 billion. I don't think it will do much more than that. I could be wrong, but I think that's a pretty fair estimate. I also do think the R rating will hurt it long term. Because again, people that wanted to go see it will go and watch it. And I don't think it's got the broader market appeal like Doctor Strange 2 had. Doctor Strange 2 could obviously get younger kids to watch it. And that's just a given, isn't it, really? I'm not trying to poo-poo the film. But yeah, good comparison there. So we'll see. I think we'll probably end up comparing it to Doctor Strange 2 in most of these videos. Because I think it will genuinely be a really... This is the last movie that did really well for Marvel. So it'll be really interesting to compare it and just see whether they're on the same track or not. But what do you guys think? Good box office opening for Deadpool and Wolverine. Have you seen the movie? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know your thoughts down below. I've reviewed it. I've done 2 reviews, spoiler-free and spoiler. You can find that on the channel. So, anyway, there you go. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.